How's it going, Laser Bruce's up, Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to the Zodiac Trial. We're still on our path of massive destruction where we're murdering everybody because we're the traitors. Working with Rooster, who's been a not the smartest partner, but definitely an hilarious partner. We're going to figure out what we're going to use as a weapon to defeat Tiger. I feel like a knife would be reasonably effective as long as she didn't see it coming. Electric, the electric boogaloo? I don't know. Let's just use a knife. Let's see what happens. Worst comes to worst, we'll reload. I mean, we probably will anyway. You still have that kitchen knife. When you use it to free Bunny, right? Yep. Okay, well, I could just lure her into a classroom and you could be waiting there. And when she walks in, you stab her. It's not complicated, but I mean, it should work, right? Stabbing tends to be pretty effective, I agree. I've got the knife, so we should be good to go. Alright, go back to the third classroom and hide right by the door. I'll find Tiger and lure her over. On it, boss. And like that, we had our plan. My job, as usual, was to be the lurer, and Rooster would be the killer. It didn't take long to find Tiger. She was searching in the auditorium on this floor. Convincing her to follow me was easy enough. She wasn't suspicious of me at all. I told her I needed help with something in a classroom, and she just followed. I brought her to a door. After you. Without a second thought, she walked in first, walked right into Rooster's trap. The moment she entered, Rooster ran at her, slashing with the knife. He got her good, right in the chest. However, that's right when everything started to go wrong. Right as she was stabbed, Tiger threw a punch directly at Rooster. He wasn't able to dodge and instead went flying across the room. Tiger immediately turned back at me, grabbed me by the throat. I guess she immediately put together that I was in on it with Rooster. When she grabbed me, I expected to be choked out. But no, with just a single hand she crushed inwards and broke my throat. Then she let me go, sending me to the ground, choking and coughing out blood everywhere. I felt myself drift into the next world. I only had one thought. Good for her. Two of Hearts. On her quest to defeat the group, Mouse will inevitably be in conflict with those she simply can't kill with strength alone. If she's smart enough, she'll be able to defeat them through other methods. If she isn't, her journey will end there. Well, I mean, that was too simple to go right, really, wasn't it? Let's do the electric thing. You see that laptop charger that's plugged into the wall? Yeah, what about it? Well, if you cut off the end of it with the kitchen knife you grabbed earlier, you should be able to get a section with exposed wire. If you plug that into an outlet, it'd be a weapon that would knock Tiger out in a single shot. Wait, not if it's past the transformer, because it'd be about, what, 12 volts? Huh, real unorthodox idea there. I like it, let's give it a shot. Alright, back to the third classroom and hide right by the door. I'll find Tiger and lure her over. You prepare to jump with the wire. On it, boss. And like that, we had our plan. My job, as usual, was to be the lurer, and Rooster would be the killer. Didn't take long to find Tiger. She was searching in the auditorium on this floor. Convincing her to follow me was easy enough. She wasn't suspicious of me at all. I told her I needed help with something in the classroom, and she just followed. I brought her to the door. After you. Without a second thought, she walked in first, right into Rooster's trap. The moment she entered, Rooster ran at her, reaching out with the wire. However, a wire isn't exactly a deadly weapon, and Tiger had killer instincts. She dodged to the right of the wire and threw a punch directly at Rooster. He wasn't able to dodge and instead went flying across the room. And yeah, we did. This is the exact same ending as last time. Good for her. Alright, reload. I guess we're just hiding then. All you need to do is hide. What? Just trust me. Based on the rate this game's been going, I'm pretty sure this will work. You just need to be out of sight and this will work. I don't see what you intend here. I'm intrigued. If this is what you say we're doing, then that's what we're doing. Alright, go back to the third classroom and find a great hiding place. I'll find Tiger and lure her over. On it, boss. And like that, we had our plan. My job, as usual, was to be the lurer, and Rooster would be the killer. Yeah, same again. And? Alright, the issue's in here. Although actually, the round's getting close to being over, isn't it? Hey, you're right. Before we start on that, we should input our moves on the tablets. Here, you can use this room, and I'll use the one right beside it. Cool. God. And then she pushes the button, she'll be executed. And just like that, the trap was set. Tiger walked into the room without a single alarm being raised in her head. I waited, and as expected, a little bit later I heard screams of agony. The Jade Emperor made it very clear. Using a tablet when someone else is in the same room was against the rules. Penalty? Instant execution. We couldn't kill Tiger, but Brian could. I walked in and saw the results of my trap. I saw Tiger lying face down, blood dripping from her neck. Rooster had gotten out of his hiding spot and looked down at the carnage with a blank look on his face. Dang, Mouse, cold-blooded. How was that cold-blooded? We didn't even do anything this time. You're right. Still, you're really good at this murder thing. Like, scarily so. I didn't give him any more of a response than that. Well, we are a defense attorney, you know. We've heard it all. I mean, oh no, we're a student. Never mind. Hey, what's this? I guess we'll be good at it though. Rooster noticed something on the body. He leaned down and fished a pistol out of Tiger's pocket. Sweet, a pistol. Huh, wonder what Tiger was doing with something like this. Did she have this on her the whole time? I guess so. I mean, there really haven't been any weapons lying around the school, at least not that I've seen. But in that case, does that mean she's had this on her before she was taken? Perhaps. At any rate, this could be useful. We should hold on to it. Ah, frick. Rooster's the one doing all the killing, you hold on to it. You can hold on to it. Really? Yeah, like I said, I don't want to do any killing. Sweet! Happy to have the gun, Rooster pocketed it. And so what now? I think we should split up and look for minor trinkets for a bit. Act normal, divert suspicion. After all, we've already killed 5 people, that's like halfway there. You're right, we should pace ourselves. Alright then, I'll check the 3rd floor and you go down to the 1st floor. Got it. Oh, and like I told Tiger, the round really is almost up, so make sure to input your move. On it. And just like that, my one ally split up from me. I was on my own. Well, I couldn't dwell on that too much. It's not like there was any reason I'd be in danger. I wasn't a suspect of anything, and there were no traitors coming after me. In the classroom, with only Tiger's dead body, I took out my tablet and pressed the run button. Then I left the room and walked down the stairs. Eventually I made my way back to the cafeteria where I found Ox. He was inspecting the results of the round on the screen. He didn't look pleased. It's all going to shit. It is? I pretended to look concerned and checked the screen. Oh, that's not great. At least nobody's gone off on their own. I suppose. More concerning, it looks like Bunny's escaped. Indeed, that does appear to be the case. I wonder if his partner freed him. We should have taken precautions against that scenario. Do you think we're doomed? I would certainly hope not. Though I can't exactly face this situation with any sense of optimism. It's all that damn Brian's fault. Seriously, how could he think any of this is okay? He's a child. A damaged, unwell child, but a child when it comes down to it. Now I'm inclined to blame Aaron Morris. Aaron Morris? He's the one who possessing Brian to do all of this in his stead. If only the man had had the sense to simply admit his guilt in front of the court, then none of this would be happening. And why wouldn't he? We had him. It was over. He should have just confessed. I disagree. Oh? Well, first off, he was never presented with any sort of plea bargain, so there was no incentive for him to plead guilty. And if there was, and he did, it wouldn't prove anything either. Oh, is it not even a confession enough to determine a man's guilt? Don't bullshit me, Ox. You're a prosecutor. You're the one person who should know how it all works. There's a reason 99% of convictions end up in a plea bargain. Is the reason not that 99% of convictions are correct? Of course not, you fuckwit. Because they're going to be given the guilty sentence whether they did it or not, and if they take the plea bargain, they'll at least get a reduced sentence. Okay, you're definitely being obstinate now. It's called playing devil's advocate, Mouse. Be used to it, because it's something lawyers are awfully fond of. Whatever you say. Anyways, not that you don't already know this, but the real reason plea bargains are so common is because it's simple risk-benefit analysis. From the prosecutor's side, if the case isn't airtight, then the question becomes, how harsh a plea bargain are we likely to get the defense to agree to? And from the defense's side, unless the case is a complete slam dunk, it's usually safer to take a reasonable deal than face a guilty verdict in court. After all, a good 10% of juries are so wonky that predicting what they'll do is a complete crapshoot. Rolling the dice like that when you face decades in jail isn't an option most can afford. There's pressure on defense attorneys to push for plea deals as well. After all, the court has too many cases already and they want to deal with them as effectively as possible. Fight for an actual trial and you're seen as an obstructionist in the eyes of the judge and the prosecution. That sort of stigma can hurt, since you're generally working with the same group of people for years. And you know all about this through your time spent in the courts? I know because my father was one such obstructionist. Ah, I see. So you became a defense attorney to follow in his footsteps? No, I mean not really. I became a defense attorney because I learned from him how messed up our system is, and I want to do my part to help it. Messed up? Are plea deals really that bad? They afford a risk-free solution to suspects that generally come with relatively few expenses. Maybe it looks that way from the outside, but for actual defendants, taking a plea deal is no small matter. For one, let's not downplay how horrible spending days, possibly weeks, in actual prisons themselves can be. It doesn't sound so bad, because people can stay in jail for years, but at the very least those jails aren't built for long-term residents. Holding Holding cell conditions are horrifying, I've seen it myself. Also, the court fees, even for a simple plea deal, are pretty ridiculous. For someone with a lower income, they deal significant damage. And there's the big thing about having a crime on your personal record that you probably didn't commit, yes. That thing can really stick, especially when it comes to seeking employment. And since you plead guilty, most people assume you really are guilty. Plea deals suck. People only do them because the other option, going to trial, has humongous risks if it goes poorly. Suppose you're right. But it's sort of the way it is. Yeah, but just because it's the way it is doesn't mean it's the way it should be, right? I remembered Ox's file. The allegations of corruption. So as a prosecutor, have you ever felt bad about some of your cases you've taken? Are you kidding? Of course I do. Then why take them on? Well, the whole point of our justice system is built around both the prosecution and the defense coming at a case with all they have. The truth will be what ends up in the middle, right? That's a non-answer and you know it. Look, the fact of the matter is, even if I do have reservations about any given case, if I don't press charges, if I don't press the harshest charges possible, then I'll be kicked out and someone will take my place. It's a competitive field, and it's filled with people who skew towards having a strong inclination towards justice. And I mean the retributive type. That includes you, right? More of an inclination than you have, I guess. Well, so all I do is my job, nothing more, nothing less. Everything's above board. You do. I'd be very easy to replace. After all, I'm a trial prosecutor. My main job is taking all the information I'm given and organize it in the most persuasive way to present to the jury. If you're really so inclined about fair and just punishments, I'd point you towards my boss. She even handles the sentencing recommendations, which isn't even strictly her purview. Really? And that's just okay? Well, I've registered a formal complaint about it, if that'll do anything. Anyway, we've gotten massively off track. We need to figure out what our next move is. Do we even have a next move? Feels like we've already fallen into complete chaos. As far as I see, I'm already a dead girl walking. What an oddly pessimistic take from you, Mouse. It's far too early to give up. There must be something to be done. Like what? I'm not sure. Although, Ox began to pace. Something about Snake and Sheep's murder, something about it still rubs me the wrong way. Oh? I thought we agreed Bunny was behind that. And he escaped, which should confirm it. Assuming he escaped. Huh? He's missing. That can mean culprit or victim. I guess you're right. Still, what's the alternative? If not Bunny, then who? You heard Rooster's testimony. Or what? Was he making that up? Is Rooster secretly the real traitor? Is Pig his accomplice? No, I don't think that's right. I'm just confused. Maybe looking around Snake's crime scene again would help. Well then, lead the way. I didn't feel great about Ox's current thought process, but I decided to humour him. It's not like he could find anything in the art room. There was no evidence that led back to me. I just needed to distract him while Rooster did the rest of the dirty work for me. Entering the room, a wave hit the pit of my stomach. I could see the murder happening once more. The look in Snake's eyes. No, focus. It didn't happen. I know nothing about the murder here. I'm innocent. Ox's eyes scanned the scene. So what are we looking for? I'm not sure. Something we missed. Well, I think that's going to be hard. I get how there'd be a ton of evidence if we had, like, forensic science equipment with us and stuff. That way we could get a lot of information out of every nook and cranny. But the way we are now, I don't think it's likely the killer would leave anything obvious enough for us to notice. Perhaps. Ox walked over to Snake's clothes, still lying in a heap on a nearby table. I never gave these a close inspection. Perhaps there's a clue in here. By all means, check it out. Ox began going through the clothes. As I already noted, the blood and the hole in the clothes suggest he was wearing this at the time of the crime, and that he was stabbed in the gut from the front. Probably someone he knew. Not that narrows things down. From the location, we could probably eliminate horse, tiger, and pig as suspects, but again, not a huge help. I wonder if there's anything in his pockets. The pockets? I never thought to check that. Well, there shouldn't be anything incriminating there, but I was curious as to what Ox might find. Let's see what we have here. This looks like a key. What's this doing here? You think it's part of the game? No, I don't think so. It's on a little loop and it's got a label on it that doesn't match the style of anything else. Master. A master key for something. What? I don't know. Probably just for his house, right? Yeah, probably. At any rate, I don't think this is the breakthrough evidence you were looking for. Agreed. He put the keys down and fished something else out of the pocket. There was 2 coloured markers. A red one and a grey one. Now what's this? Huh? What is that doing there? I'm not sure. But since these are art supplies, Ox looked around the room before spotting a set of matching markers. That set over there. He grabbed them from there. That set is sitting on the table right by where we found the wiped up bloodstains. It's likely that after he got stabbed, he slumped against the table, and with the last of his strength, he grabbed a hold of these markers. That's possible, that's possible. Judging by everything we know, I think... What to say? The markers are Snake's dying message. Snake intended to fight back with the markers. I'm gonna fight you with a marker. Snake grabbed the markers before getting stabbed. Probably that. Where are we gonna save this one? Jesus. What a mess. My save files have become a huge mess. Grabbed the markers before being stabbed? Really? Yeah, maybe he was gonna draw something before he was attacked? Maybe he was distracted, then the killer tapped his shoulder and stabbed him. What makes you think that? Well, the alternative that you propose is that he grabbed the markers after he was stabbed. But if I was stabbed, I don't think my first instinct would grab some random markers. What would be the point of that? You're right. Snake must have had some purpose in grabbing them. I think that might be Snake's dying message. Huh? Snake was the clever type. Knowing he didn't have long to live, he made use of what he'd have around to try and help the group. Okay, that's also possible. But in that case, what's the message say? Indeed, what could it mean? I can't imagine the message would be that complex. After all, he was dying as he grabbed them. Whatever he meant to get across with his action, there must be something very simplistic. What could it be? I have no idea. We're just going to keep saving and see what happens. What? Red and grey? Rooster? RG. Well, let's try the initials. I'm curious to see what it says. The markers are red and grey, right? Oftentimes in a murder mystery, the victim will leave the killer's name and initials in their blood. It's sort of like that. Snake's message is RG. Or maybe GR. I can't quite tell. So those initials are the killer's name? Right. Seeing as you don't know anyone's names, it'd be difficult to decode that message. Well, we can ask around. No, Mouse, you're not thinking. Snake also shouldn't have known anyone's names. So how could he give someone's initials? Oh, huh. Maybe he knew the killer personally. We are all connected after all. I think there's a simpler answer. The thing you'd be looking for are the colours. He's an artist after all. The colours red and grey hold significance. That's the message. Now if I'm thinking about what those colours could mean, there's one conclusion I can draw. The colour of the pawns on the race board. Rooster, the witness who saw Snake, has a red pawn. And your pawn is grey. That's right. So then... why wouldn't the killer remove the markers from his pocket? I guess we're going to try that. Otherwise, this is not looking good for us. This is not looking good for us at all. Yeah, let's go with that one. Why wouldn't the killer remove the markers from the pocket? I mean, maybe they didn't realize it was a code or something. But just as a principle, if you saw someone you just killed stuffing something in their pocket, you'd probably get rid of it, right? Well, Mouse, that's assuming they saw Snake stuff the markers in his pocket at all. What do you mean? After murdering someone, anyone with a conscience is liable to try and avoid looking directly at their work. It might not be logical, but only complete sociopaths are entirely logical when committing a murder. Putting some markers in a pocket is an action that could be completed fairly quickly and subtly. I think that it's entirely plausible that Snake got the markers in his pocket discreetly. Ox turned around to look at where the bloodstains were wiped away. Thinking about it some more, it makes sense that there would be two killers in a scene like this. Someone to lure him in, and someone else to do the deal. If Bunny and Dog couldn't have done it, and if Snake didn't do it, then we have to assume Rooster was making his whole story up, and if that's the case, he could be working with someone else. Thinking about everyone's movements so far, the other traitor, the other killer would have to be... Suddenly Ox stopped speaking. Instead his attention focused on the sudden jolt of pain in his back. We'd left a lot back at the initial scene of the crime, including the kitchen knife that did Snake in. I grabbed it off the table and stabbed Ox right in the back. The feeling of metal moving through his flesh, of killing intent entering his body. It felt just like cutting any other type of meat. After a few pained seconds, Ox collapsed to the ground. Blood was pouring down from Ox. It was clear that I'd already landed the fatal blow. He had but minutes to live. No, even that was generous. Immediately I felt like collapsing to the ground. My head felt like a bowling ball, and the room felt like it was spinning. If I bent slightly any which way, my head would plummet to the ground and the rest of me would follow. Finally, I'd murdered someone myself. Up until now, I'd certainly been an accessory to the crime, but this was different. Ox, the person who had gotten me through the start of this, was now dying. And it was because of me, and I couldn't undo it. Not now. Not ever. No. He was a bad person, a corrupt tool. He was nothing. He deserved this. I was a good person, he wasn't. I mean, you killed him, so you're probably not a good person either. This wasn't a sin, this was fine. Ox locked eyes with me, a gaunt look on his face. He knew everything. I hope this works out for you, I really do. Because I suspect it won't, and you can't take it back. Maybe I do deserve something like this, but man, Brian really is a devil. He didn't just kill us. No, those of us who died got off easy. Because what he did to you, Mouse, is a fate worse than death. He took your soul, and you're not going to get it back. Well, your waste of all 12 of us are ruined by this game, so try your best to forget all this. Think of it as a bad dream, and then maybe then Brian won't have completely won. Even at the end I couldn't say a single word. I just watched as the light slowly faded out of Ox's eyes. I needed to do at least that much. I killed him, I needed to see him to his death. And once he died I felt nothing. I was just another one down. But just then I heard a noise by the door. Hey Mouse, did you... Oh. So it looks like you finally dealt with one of them by yourself. Okay. You need some time to yourself, I get it. I'm respecting your boundaries. No, I'm fine. What's the update? Well, good news and bad news. Bad news? Well, not bad news for us. It's sort of bad news in general. Everyone else is dead. What? You killed all of them? Actually, Horse did most of the work. Huh? I don't know what his deal was. He just started wandering the halls killing people, all the while wearing some sort of skull mask. He looked like a complete psycho. His arms were literally caked in blood. Christ. Yeah, I think we might have broken him. Whoops. Anyways, I was nearly a goner myself, but I luckily had an ace up my sleeve. The gun. Rooster proudly displayed the pistol. Good thing I decided to hold on to it, huh? Yeah, no kidding. So it's over? That's right. It's all over. I couldn't describe the emotions that overtook me. I expected relief. Maybe regret? But instead I just felt a hollowness. Oh, so this is how it went, huh? I could hardly muster the motivation to celebrate. Rooster seemed to be doing fine by himself, but I couldn't shut down. I heeded Ox's words and lived the rest of my life to my fullest. Afterwards we gathered everyone's tablets and used them to great effect. Finally we made our last inputs. I would come in first, Rooster would come in last, we would be free. And with that we've successfully pulled it off. Nothing else to worry about. Nothing else to worry about? Rooster, you realise the mountains of forensic evidence we've left behind, right? They'll know what we did. There's no way they won't have repercussions. That's... Shit, okay. Once we leave, we'll find a bunch of gasoline and burn the entire school down. That was the first thing that crossed my mind as well. What? Think about it. Nobody knows what's happening here, or else the building would be surrounded. If the whole place goes up in smoke, even a thorough investigation is going to struggle to prove we did anything. The murders maybe, but they can show we burned the building down. Right, well that's fine. We can just say that after everything, Brian threatened us with the collars. He ordered us to burn the school down or we'd be executed. But our collars will be undone once we leave. Says who? When they catch Brian, surely he'll speak up. Who are the police going to believe, the perpetrator or the victims? Trust me, Mouse, everything's going to work out just fine. We won. I didn't know if I could agree with Rooster that everything was going to work out just fine, but he was right about one thing. We'd won. And because of that, I knew I had to live the rest of my life to the fullest, for those who had lost, no matter what it takes. 2 of spades. If she puts her mind to it, Mouse can win as a traitor. However, that's a path that leads to complete destruction. Anyone who leaves a bloodbath will be stained in blood that can't be washed away. We're not looking for a total slaughterhouse like this. The less victims, the better. There should be a better way. Yes, indeed. Alright, I'm going to have to cut here and I'll bring you back in a sec when I find where we're going to, because that's the end of that one and I don't think there's any more choices to go back to, but I will figure that out and bring you back. I went back to previous courses that we were doing in earlier episodes that I'd missed choices on, and this is the one where Pig is the really clever traitor, but I didn't pick Ox's right. I believe I picked Ox's wrong, so I don't know if that's going to change anything. Yeah, at the very least we need a few more. We don't have a ton of time to spare though. We'll just have to work fast. Since there's no more threats, we can split up, search the school and find what we've missed. Is it okay to leave Pig alone? Sheep's right. Need at least a guard on Pig. She might be trapped, but a major trinket could turn things around. I'll stay here, make sure she doesn't try anything shifty. If it's alright with everyone, I think I'll stay here too. Do you think I can't handle it? Of course not, I just think it'd be better to have at least 2 guards. Then can I get someone I can actually stand? I think our differences actually make us suited to work together. Oh really? I'm just gonna nip this in the bud now. Dragon, Bunny, you two stay here and make sure Pig doesn't try anything. Everyone else can split up and search for minor trinkets. Everyone nodded. It was a solid plan. Likely to work. We'll try to reconvene here with some time before the round ends. That way we can coordinate our moves based on how many trinkets we have. And like that, we began to search the school. For my part, I looked around pretty hard. I went through a number of classrooms and a language hall on the second floor. I actually did come across one safe, but once I solved the puzzle and opened it, it wasn't a minor trinket, but a useless major trinket, only good for killing. And that was around when we needed to return and regroup. What a waste of time. You know, when we were the killers, we never used a major trinket to our advantage, which was really weird. I was disappointed with myself, but well, what can you do? There's still plenty of time to search, and everyone was on the same page. Things had definitely gotten hectic. It had gotten dark, but finally it was in fact checkmate. However, as I walked back to the cafeteria to meet with everybody and discuss what our moves for this round should be, I noticed something very troubling. By the door guarding Pig, Dragon was gone, and Bunny looked in a bad state. Bunny? You okay? What happened? I'm fine. We shouldn't have underestimated Pig. What do you mean? Did she do this? 2 guards, close to the door. It wasn't enough. We were caught off guard and she threw something out the door. I don't know what. But all I know is that it blinded Dragon and I. Next thing I know, I felt myself being shoved. By the time my vision recovers, Pig is running down the hallway, holding a tablet. Holding a tablet? You know how I was holding on to Monkey's tablet? Oh no. This couldn't be happening, could it? Oh yes. We tried to chase after her, but she managed to set off a fire in the hallway that blocked us off. She started a fire? Don't look at me. Anyway, Dragon's still searching for it. Maybe too late, but instantly I understood. Alright, I'll help look. Bunny nodded at me and I ran over to the nearest staircase. There wasn't much time left, and it was likely Pig had already made her move. Still, I couldn't just sit back and die. What the hell were Dragon and Bunny doing so that Pig could get the upper hand on them? No, I couldn't think like that. After all, it was my fault for not insisting on more guards. I mean, we had 10 people at our disposal. Surely we could have spared 3 or 4 and spread them out around the area. That would have been better. What happened? We were cocky. We assumed it was the end of the line for Pig. In my final desperate moments rushing around the school, I was reminded of my father. On more than one occasion, I had a decent lead on him. I felt confident that I'd finally beat him. And in every one of those situations, he'd end up pulling a comeback through a bizarre checkmate I didn't see. A checkmate I didn't think possible. That's what this was, an unexpected checkmate. My father was an opponent I never ended up beating. Now I never could. Before, when I had thought that, it was because he was dead. However, for the first time, there was another reason why I could say that with confidence. When the round ended, I was in an empty hallway, still searching. Maybe we can beat him in the afterlife. But I heard the announcement play on the speakers. The finish line has been crossed. The winner is Pig. Congratulations. Anyone who has not won has lost. Prepare for execution. Yeah, that's what I thought. Monkey. Monkey's monkey see, monkey do ability was powerful, as was Rooster's encouraging crow. Those two together made for a powerful combination. If we'd used Monkey's tablet earlier, had made a movement plan for this round ahead of time, none of this would have happened. But oh well. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Should have viewed Pig as a greater threat. Would have liked to give her a solid punch before I died. Could have prevented myself from being executed if I just hitched a ride on her every turn. And like that, the collar went to work and I collapsed on the floor. A painful minute or two later, I was completely dead. King of Diamonds. Appear strong when you are weak, and weak when you are strong. A random Sun Tzu quote, just to think about. On a completely separate note, Pig's lead makes her dangerous. All she needs is a single round where she can find an edge, and it's game over. For victory to be certain, she must be completely out of options. Now, I believe there's one more choice in that area that I haven't made yet, so I'll bring you back when I get to it. Oh, maybe we need to mess up this what doesn't feel right one after we implicate Sheep as the killer in this run. Because it was Dragon and Snake's death that was the weird one. Let's just pick a random one. Ox's death is weird. I thought your explanation made sense. Yeah, well, I don't doubt any details of it, but why did Rooster do it? He seemed at the very least harmless. To kill Ox like that feels so weird. What's tragic is that there's no longer any way to find the truth. Alright, anyone who could answer those questions is dead. And it was that grim note that lingered in the air. You should get to work on trying to reach the finish line. Mikey began anxiously drumming on the side of her chair. If you gather the tablets and minor trinkets for the victims, you should be able to reach it in very little time. And Dog? Surely if he had any sense, and if he was really alive, he'd have made his way back to the cafeteria by now instead of fathering so much doubt. It was supposed to be a group meeting by now, correct? It's a true shame. Shame. But him not showing up must mean that he's not able to anymore. We're assuming he's dead. I thought about it for a moment and realized that Monkey was right. If Dog wasn't the culprit, then him not showing up must mean he's... Then would I be surviving alone? It felt horrible to think about, but for now I should focus on collecting the tablets and trinkets like Monkey said. I began going around the school collecting what I could find. But then, when I was going up the stairs to collect Ox and Rooster's tablets, I could feel blades piercing my neck. What the hell? What was happening? The pain was on fire. But what really gripped me was the confusion. I was being executed, right? To die like this? Instantly, my mind doubled back to Dog. Dog, were my deductions wrong? Were you behind Snake and Dragon's deaths? Were you behind all the deaths? If not, why was I suddenly being executed for no rhyme or reason? This doesn't make... Fuck. Finally, the excruciating pain won over my reasoning. For my few remaining minutes alive, my head was filled with nothing but agony. When I finally died, it was a relief. 10 of Hearts. A fate far trickier to comprehend than most, one that requires a full understanding of the board. At any rate, one thing is simple. Mouse can't turn her head from the truth. If she discovers the true origin of the killings, this can be prevented. Alright, this is probably going to be a short-ish episode, but we're going to wrap this one up here, and because we're going to be starting a whole new path in the next one, I believe, because we've cleared up most of the endings for those bits that we have done. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.